Becoming a bride is one of the most exciting yet nerve-wracking times in a woman's life. And what makes it more enjoyable and less nerve-wracking is knowing what to expect and be prepared for it. So this is why today, this is my aim, inshallah, to prepare you for what is to come and how you can be ready for whatever that is to come, so that inshallah you are at ease and comfortable, not scared. When you're preparing for your wedding, you need to do two things. First of all, you need to find somebody you trust and that you can rely on. And it could be anybody. It could be your mother, it could be your sister, it could be your friend. And the thing is, why you need to have conversations with them beforehand is because your family is most likely going to be very busy with managing all the what is it called, all the administrative work, like, okay, who's going to take you and bring you and things like that. So they might not have time to tune down to what you actually want and what are the fine details and like fine desires of yours. For example, you want a certain guest to be welcomed a certain way, and you want a certain friend to come and sit next to you. So for those things, you have to have like a confidant, like a right arm almost. And it is just going to make that day run that much smoother. So for that person, you're going to talk to them about what are your wishes for that day? What are your desires for that day? And that person should be willing to help you and to make sure that everything goes according to how you want things to be. Like your desire should be in their heart, like that's what they're trying to do. Their best is to give you what you want, inshallah. So that kind of person, you need to find that person, inshallah. And the next thing you need to do is to start making checklists for everything. Start making checklists, for example, things like trying on the wedding dress, or checking makeup artist, which artist you're going to get your makeup done from. The thing is, what you should do is, because the wedding makeup is so expensive, what you need to do, you should go beforehand and test it on your face. What you're going to do is you're going to tell them to do a makeup on half of your face, so you can see how, if you like the look. And you can also see if that makeup artist is professional enough for your skin. So they might be good on other people, might show you pictures of other makeup they've done before, but that might not work with your skin. So you could find that beforehand, that okay, she's doing my makeup, but then my skin is like, my foundation is cracking from here and from here. So if those things are spotted from beforehand, then you can make sure that there are no unpleasant surprises on your wedding day. So you're making all of these checklists, making uh, trying on the wedding dress, and also preparing and perfuming your lingeries. And also you're going to make checklist for like preparing a wedding bag. That is going to be in addition to the suitcase. Now the suitcase might have your important clothes and things that you might need for for the first 5 or 10 days, because obviously you'll be moving with a lot of luggage as well, probably from your parents' house. So then you're going to have a briefcase or a suitcase that contains uh, 5 days worth of luggage, till you're like settled, until you're able to open all the other luggage and settle things inside your house. This is the suitcase that you're going to be living off of. So there's going to be that suitcase, and also there's going to be a bridal bag. Now, this bag is going to be, let me show you. Okay. So this bridal bag, the function of this bag is that it sits next to your bed, and it stays by your side the whole time uh, after you come home from the wedding hall. So, and the reason for that is it acts like a first aid. If anything went wrong, your bag should have supplies for that. Let me tell you exactly what you need in that bag. So for your wedding bag, You so wedding bag could look like this, a little bit like this. I will inshallah try my best to put the links to all the things that you can get from Shein, inshallah, in the description of this video. That might be very helpful for you to give you ideas of what kind of things that are going to be suitable, inshallah. Okay, so this wedding bag, for example, or something like that that has compartment, but this size looks good. Doesn't have to be too huge. You don't want a huge bag sitting next to you, and you don't want so this small bag, this size looks very good. And what you're gonna put inside here, first of all, you're going to put a painkiller, and the reason for that is because your wedding day is going to be a bit of a hassle. So much is happening, and on top of that, sometimes in some cultures, the wedding, the veil is so heavy, and it's sitting on your head for so long, and you are not used to that. And then they do a certain hairdos as well in your head with so much, pins and things like that, and that can give you a headache. So you are prepared for that, just in case you have a headache. And if you know there's going to be a long day and you're starting to get tired, it's a good idea to take the painkiller anyway, because just so the things don't get more unpleasant for you, inshallah. And also for the wedding night, it's a good idea because if the wedding day is very long, so by that time you and your husband are trying to spend some quality time together, you might feel so tired and drained. So for such occasions, you have a painkiller from beforehand to ease up any pain or any, what is it called, any fears that you might have that you're gonna feel any pain. So that you know that, okay, I already have painkiller, so inshallah I'm not gonna have any pains, inshallah. So this is why you're gonna keep some painkiller in your bag. Another thing that I want you to keep in your wedding bag is a small itar, and a small itar, and it could be musk. Now, as we know that we use musk in our private area, as Prophet ﷺ has told us to do after periods. Now, a good idea is to never, ever try anything for the first time just before your wedding, or on the wedding night. Never, never do that, because you always need to do a patch test beforehand to see if this particular product, if musk can be, if you could be allergic to it, for example, or you could be sensitive to it. You don't want to have anything unpleasant happening on the wedding night. So you need to know from beforehand. So don't do that. If you are already used to doing it beforehand, then you can do it. But otherwise, don't use it in that private area. But what you can do is to use your perfume or your itir on your pulse spots, like the spot in on your wrist, like behind your ear. So those kind of spots, maybe you could put like a drop between your breasts. So those are some good spots to put some drops of itir. It's going to freshen you up. The thing is, if you know that you had a long wedding day, and you had been sweaty, so it might be a good idea to pop in for a quick shower. Now, for this quick shower, you don't have to open all your hair and everything. You can just have like a body shower without your hair, just to freshen up a little bit and just to smell nice a little bit. So do that as soon as you're getting out of your wedding gown, is to freshen up a little bit, put some deodorant on yourself and put some ether, and afterwards you're going to put on a lingerie and underwear and bra and robe. So those things, inshallah, we're going to talk a little bit more about it later. What else is in your wedding bag? You're going to have some basic makeup. Now, this is not an elaborate makeup with foundation and everything. This is just to touch up a little bit, whatever, like first aid. If you see something, maybe a tint on your lips. The tint is something like, the color is not like a lipstick. The color doesn't wear off. So you can do that, and or maybe you can have some glowing, like some oil or something like glittery for your body glitter to give you a fresh look. And also in that bag, you're going to keep travel size bathroom kit. Now, it could look something like this, and you can fill in it with your tried and tested shower gel and lotion and shampoo and conditioner. The thing is, you don't know what kind of shampoo and conditioner you're gonna get, and ideally, the shampoo and conditioner should be the one that's suited to your skin, so you know them from before, and that's those are the ones you're gonna get in the travel size containers, and you're going to label them and you're going to keep them because you don't want your bag to be super big and heavy. So this size is perfect for that. So put some lotion, put some shower gel that you're going to wash your body with. And also in that bag, you're going to keep some snacks. And the thing is, we know that many times what happens is the bride kind of gets forgotten, or she herself is so tense or so involved into the wedding activities and what's happening, who is coming, who is going, that she sometimes forgets to eat anything. And they realize at night, maybe groom is the same, they realize that they're super hungry and starving. It's a good idea to have some snack, maybe like a dark chocolate to give you some energy and lift up your mood. Also, maybe like some dry fruits, things like that. There's some things that you can nibble on so you don't feel drained of energy. So you have energy to carry on some quality time together with your husband. Another thing you might want to keep is a razor because this bag is going to act as your first aid. So the razor is, sometimes some ladies freak out, they've forgotten to shave a patch of hair somewhere. So it comes in handy. Another thing is a small pad. Now, this pad is just in case you started bleeding a little bit, or if you were not bleeding, but then somehow you caught an infection. So this pad is there to catch all of that. You might need to use it. Another thing is a power bank. Sometimes what happens is your battery dies, and then right before right, at night when you have to message your family and you tell them, okay, we've reached home and things like that, or you just need to call Uber or whatever, and you don't have battery. So keep a power bank in addition. And in that bag also, like we said, we're going to have some lingerie, underwear, and bra and robe. Now let's talk a little bit about that. Now, as a bride, you're not going to wear overly short clothes. And as a new bride, you should be wearing, you should look like an eye candy, but at the same time, modest and covered, right? So as soon as you take off your wedding gown underneath, you should be wearing something. Okay, first of all, the things that you're going to uh, wear when you take off your wedding gown or wedding bridal clothes is a nice underwear. Now, the underwear, I prefer that it's not too short for the first night, especially, but it is a must. Do not skip wearing an underwear. It sends a very bad message. It sends a message that you are overly excited or eager to get into the relationship, to get into the. It doesn't send a good message to a man because a man, if he's marrying, he wants his wife to be like to be shy, and it gives him a feeling of purity, of innocence. That I have a pure, innocent bride, and if you seem too overly eager, then sometimes, subhanallah, the shaitan plays with their head, and they feel like, oh, has she done things before? So we don't want to give that impression. As a bride, you're going to be shy, you're going to be modest, you're going to be wearing something. So this inner lingerie should be maybe up to your knees, and the robe could be a bit longer, and the underwear that you're wearing should be like briefs, right? But then they should be pretty though. Should be pretty. Might have some like a little bit of lace, and um, now, the thing is, generally, you do want to have cotton underwears all the time. However, for your husband, when you're having underwears or things like that, or for a short while, you could have silk underwear because they feel so much nicer to touch. And and all of your lingeries need to be silky and soft to the touch because touch is one of the ways that, that very exciting for a man. So it has to be silky and soft and smooth and feminine. So colors need to be feminine as well. Like for the first night, you don't want to wear red you want to wear blacks and things like that. You want to wear soft feminine colors like maybe a white or beige or rose gold. So colors like these that are feminine and soft, you're going to wear those for the first night. Now, many ladies don't understand what is the function of this kind of underwear that's stringy, and why do you even wear it? And now the thing is with this underwear, the good thing with that is, I mean, you can wear it later on in the wedding, um, but what it does is that it can give you very long legs. So you wear it normally, and then you lift those straps a little bit up on your body. That will give the illusion of very, very long slender legs, and especially if you have them oiled, so they shine. It is very exciting for men to see that. All right. These are some tips or some reminders for a barakah-filled marriage. Now, you are embarking on a very different journey in your life. You're starting a new chapter in your life, and you want that chapter to bring you a lot of happiness and peace, sakina and barakah, blessing. You want to follow these steps. You want to hold through your wedding, inshallah, from the process of selecting your spouse till you reach your husband's house. You're not going to indulge in any haram activity, any haram interactions, or any haram sharing of pictures and things like that. You everything you're trying your best to follow the rules of Islam, the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is going to bring a lot of barakah in your marriage. Another thing you want to do is when you first enter with your husband in your marital house, you're going to perform 2 units of salah, nafil, in the leadership of your husband. So he's going to be the imam, and he's going to lead you in the salah. Now, this is a very beautiful symbolic representation of this household that you're building together. It shows that both of you want to build this household in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where you are going to follow him and he's going to lead you towards Allah's pleasure. It is so beautiful. It is symbolic, and it is something that all Muslims should do. Another thing is when you're entering your house, then you can read the dua for entering your house. And what is the dua? So this is the dua that I recommend. It was recommended to me and I loved it, and I recommend it to everybody. This dua is it was taught to Prophet Nuh alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, وَقُلْ رَبِّ أَنزِلْنِي مُنزَلًا مُبَارَكًا وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الْمُنزِلِينَ. Say, "O my Lord, Ya Rab, أنزلني منزلا مباركا." Land me a very blessed landing. وأنت خير المنزلين. Basically, what it means that you are entering your house for the first time. It is like Nuh alayhi salam was entering this world after the flooding happened. Then the Nuh alayhi salam is coming off the ship and is hoping to receive the best things in this world now. And for that, he's reading this dua. قُلْ رَبِّ أَنزِلْنِي مُنزَلًا مُبَارَكًا وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الْمُنزِلِينَ. It is in Surah Al-Mu'minun. And you can read this so that Allah lands you in your marital house and make it full of blessing, inshallah. And last thing is a dua of intimacy. Now, it's supposed to be recited by the man, but subhanallah, like so many men don't even know it, or because they're shy or for whatever reason, they don't do it. So it's a good idea for you to remind him gently if you see that he's getting too passionate but the dua is not being read. So you could remind him that, oh, there is one dua that I heard and I just loved it, and it goes like this: Bismillah, Allahumma jannibna shaitan wa jannib shaitana ma razaqtana. Bismillah, oh Allah, protect us from shaitan and protect from shaitan whatever you grant us. And whoever reads this dua, if Allah gives them children, offspring from this encounter, then that child will be protected from shaitan. Now, what a huge blessing that is. So this is not something that you should take lightly. This is something you should do in your wedding night, inshallah. All right. Now, let's talk about some things or some concerns women have for their wedding night. And as a bride, these concerns make them really worried. So sometimes women are really worried about their body insecurities like cellulites and darkness of the area, the private parts, or stretch marks or injuries. Now, the one thing I would tell you about this is that no matter what kind of woman you are or what body type you are, whatever you have on your body, there is unique attractiveness about you. You have your unique attractiveness. You need to highlight that. And the thing is, we think that men don't know. Like when he has come to you for ru'ya shar'iyya, he already saw you. He already saw your body, even though he didn't see you naked. But he saw your body. Like he knows if you have cellulites. He knows if you have a protruding tummy. Because men see these things, even if we don't like, even we don't realize that they've seen it. But this is what they have come to see, and they have a very good grasp of your body, like or what your body looks like, and he still finds you attractive. Know that as a woman, you should know that 80 to 90% of attractiveness lies within your confidence and within your acceptance of your own body. It is going to increase his pleasure and your pleasure tenfold if you're comfortable with how you look and who you are. You are normal, however you are. You know, this is how normal bodies look. All normal bodies have stretch marks, injury marks, some cellulite, and some darkness of the area. And some darkness is normal. Even men have it. 1 or 2 degrees darkness is normal. Everybody has it because of the location and everything. It's just natural to have that kind of darkness, and normal bodies do have it. We're not comparing ourselves to the bodies of models, of actors, because they're photoshopped and they've put makeup on and things like that. So for your body, if you are worried about like stretch marks or specific injury marks, make clothes or make lingeries work for you. So for your tummy, for example, if you're insecure about your tummy, have a lingerie that covers your tummy but highlights like your arms, for example. Have a lingerie that highlights your leg, like it has an opening in the leg area, right? So make your clothes work for you and make your and the rest of it is all inner work, is to accepting your body the way you are and realizing that there's nothing wrong with you, that you're normal, that this is how normal people are. We're supposed to look like this. We're not supposed to look like models. Accept yourself. Be confident, and you are going to feel relaxed, and you're going to feel pleasure. Another thing is body asymmetry. Many women are worried about this. Many ladies, many girls are so worried about this. Okay, my both breasts don't look the same, or somewhere in their body, they feel like, ah, is this normal? Is this how it's supposed to look like? And let me tell you, uh, some asymmetry in the body is normal. Asymmetry is very normal. It's not noticeable. And this is not what a man is going to be focusing on anyway. When he's with you, he's not going to be measuring each body part and how symmetrical that is. He's more going to be focusing on the feelings and the pleasure. And the third thing ladies and girls are really worried about is natural body odors. For example, might be odors in the mouth or might be odors in the private part. Now, some natural body odor is normal. The thing is, if your mouth has natural normal body odor, that's fine. But sometimes what happens is if the mouth odor can sometimes be normal, but then if there are some deep issues, for example, there's some rotten teeth going on there, then your mouth is going to smell really bad and then you need to get it taken care of. And the other thing could make your mouth smell really bad is maybe your tummy issues. So if gastric issues, if you suffer with those, then you need to manage them. So from beforehand, you would know your condition and you would know how to manage it. Because for some people it can happen if they don't eat for a long time. Or some people it could happen if they eat certain types of food. So know that and remedy that before your wedding day. And if you do all of that, and if you've brushed your teeth and everything, and then you're still worried about some body odor, then keep with yourself mint or maybe mouth freshener or something like that. However, if you wake up in the morning and your husband wants to kiss you, and that's fine. Don't be too conscious. It's normal, and it is a matter of getting used to it. You know, you're both gonna get used to each other, but so this is something that you're both going to get used to, and it does not that unpleasant. Another thing is the body odors down there, the private parts. For that, there are many things you can do. First of all, you should be washing yourself every few hours anyway, because anything like the moist and the bacteria and anything, if it remains for a long time, obviously it's going to smell. You have to wash yourself, rinse yourself, and this is why we this naturally happens with us anyway when we all go to the toilet. Every few hours, we need to go to the toilet. It gets washed, right? So then it remains fresh. However, sometimes what happens is if you know that you're you're excreting a lot of excretions, maybe to have a small pad that you can put over there, and you could keep changing that pad every few hours. And if you don't use the pad, then maybe you need to change your underwear every few hours. If you know your underwear has some excretions on it, then you need to change it. Otherwise, it's not going to smell nice. And keep it smelling fresh. What you can also do is your itter. Take some of your ether and put it on the inner side of your thighs, right? On the upper thighs, not too close to your private area because we don't want it to get any perfumes, anything like that, because otherwise you might get infections down there, and we don't want that. Your vagina is a self-cleaning oven. It doesn't need any perfumes, uh, anything, any chemicals, anything like that. So, and you keep any perfumed things away from your private area. So you can put it on the upper inner thighs. That's going to give it an illusion of you smelling nice down there. Now, let me tell you some of the things that are not normal for your wedding night. What's not normal for your wedding night? Excessive bleeding is not normal for your wedding night. And what does excessive bleeding mean? So if for example, if the hymen breaks and you started bleeding, like your period blood, for example. That's not normal. That means you need to contact a doctor. And the normal bleeding is like a paper cut. The thing is, your private area is equipped with so many blood vessels that even the tiniest like cut could make it seem like it's a big deal, and it's not. The thing is, why does it have so many blood vessels down there? It is to make childbirth easy and to repair, to heal very easily from any childbirth or anything like that. So that's a good place to. I've heard a midwife say that if I choose a body part to have a cut, I would choose my private part because that's the part that's going to heal the quickest without any traces. So this is how Allah made it, and even the tiniest cut can make it seem like it's bleeding, but it's just normal. So don't be panicked if you see some blood. Sometimes when hymen breaks, you don't even see any blood. So sometimes hymen doesn't even break. For some people, it just takes so much time for it to break, and for some people, it breaks right away. But it's like a paper cut. Like I said, it shouldn't bleed. And just in case it started bleeding a little bit, what you're gonna do is for then you have to wash it with warm water. Remember, don't put anything on it. Don't put anything on it. Just warm water and air is going to be enough to heal it, inshallah. What else is not normal is having strong smells down there, or swelling, or itching. Those are all signs that you've got an infection. That means you need to contact the doctor and get the proper treatment. Otherwise, it's just going to make things very uncomfortable for you. And the third thing that's not normal for your wedding night is your husband's tendency to hurt you. So sometimes some men have distorted view of intimacy, and they try to, I don't want to scare anybody, but just to be aware of that, it could happen, but it's very rare that he might want to, for example, inflict some pain on you, and this is how he drives pleasure. If it is something like that, if you find this tendency in him, first of all, reject it. Don't take part in it. And if he, persist in that, this could be something you should seriously think about then, that if you want to continue with this relationship or not. So this tendency to hurt you, inflict pain on you, to injure you, this is not normal. Another thing is some men are inclined towards entering the back door for whatever reason. And if that happens, you know that this is haram and it is a big no-no. Never let him do that. You can say something like, "Oh, we want to do everything that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're not going to indulge in any haram. So our wedding remains blessed." And if he insists on that, get rid of him, divorce him. He's not worth staying with. Right. Now we've covered what's not normal. Let's just talk about a little bit more about the hygiene of the sensitive area, because I want you to have a pain-free experience, inshallah. Now, the thing is, the things that you can do to have the best experience, inshallah, is to have a gynae trip before marriage. Maybe what you can do in that gynae trip is to discuss the hygiene of that area and how to take care of it. And maybe you can get prescribed something for sensitivity, like if you can get something soothing for the area, or something, for example, you can get some antibacterial washes and things like that. And maybe she could recommend a type of a lubricant for you that you can tell your husband, I had a gynae trip before marriage, and she gave me, and she said that to keep this in my bag for husband to use. I mean, you don't want to tell them that you know too much about the lubes and about lubricants and things like that, because then he might start having bad ideas in his head. But you can say something like, or even if this is not the case, that he has bad ideas in his head about you, it is against haya a little bit, and as the bride's beauty is in her haya, and it's not to indulge in like deep discussions of lubricants and things like that. So you're going to give him, and if he says, oh, I don't know how to use it, then you can suggest that he looks it up on the internet how to use it. So it's a good idea to keep that as well, a small lube in your wedding bag, in your bridal bag. And you can also put like a coconut oil or some natural oils. So for some people, they don't find the feel of the lubricants that nice. So for them, the oils like coconut oil or olive oil, they work just as good, if not better. You can keep that, inshallah. And after that, I want you to also know that you should wash your private area after each intimate encounter. And why is that? Why do you need to wash your private area after each intimate encounter? The thing is, because otherwise, sometimes it can cause infections. Sometimes it can cause urinary tract infection if, like, a sperm ends up going inside your urethra, for example. And this, if we consider it to represent your private parts, this area, this opening, we can consider it as vagina, then maybe over here is your urethra. So you can see how close it is and how easy for sperms to travel up there, and all the liquids and fluids, and sometimes it can cause a urinary tract infection. Another thing is that your pleasure is not going to be derived primarily from your opening, the way it is for him. Most of your pleasure can come from the clitoris that's located up there, and that's responsible for a female pleasure. And the reason I'm telling you this is because if in the beginning you don't feel any pleasure from him entering, then don't feel there's anything wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. This is your anatomy. This is how Allah has created you. Allah has created him differently, and he feels most of his pleasure through entering, through climaxing that way. But you feel your pleasure mostly by from the outside stimulation. So knowing that can enhance your experience. And another thing you need to know is to shave down there to not trap the moisture. And the reason that the more moisture down there, the more bacteria grow and things like that. And the thing is, you should have, by now, you should have a routine of keeping yourself hair free down there. And the best routine I would say is to, every time you have a shower, is to have a razor with you, and you just go over there. If you have a routine of already cleaning it, it doesn't even take few minutes. It just like you're done in a minute or two if you have a constant routine of that. And I do not recommend the methods of the waxing, because not only it causes so much pain and you've got very delicate and sensitive nerve endings down there, but also and you need to verify this information, but it seems that it might over time cause some sagging and some wrinkling. So we are prone to aging anyway, and if we keep doing that regularly, then we don't want that to impact our skin, inshallah. So that's why I recommend shaving. I don't even recommend laser. The thing is, sometimes people do laser, home laser, or whatever. They do that and they go completely hair free down there. And it's amazing when they're in their 30s and 40s, probably. But as soon as they start aging more, in their 50s, then they start regretting that laser, that their hair doesn't grow anymore. The thing is, when your area naturally starts wrinkling, there's nothing wrong with that. With aging, it does happen. But if you've got some hair, then it could cover up that wrinkling a little bit and still give you a youthful look. But if you've got gone completely, hair free down there, laser, then maybe in the old age you would be would not be happy with the appearance. Except if you take a really good care of it, and then you keep moisturizing it and things like that. And there are ways to stay young, inshallah. All right. Now, that's the fourth thing that I want you to know about the hygiene of the area, is to apply nappy creams if you have slight irritation. Not infection. Remember the infection? I said you're going to have odor, you're going to have burning, and you're going to have unpleasant smell and screeching and things like that. Maybe green screeching, brown screeching, things like that. Definitely infection. However, just have slight irritation, then you could use the cream that they use for kids in with their nappy rash, for example, pseudo cream, or like Vaseline as well, inshallah, that could help. All right. Now, for the first night, sometimes what happens is performance issues happen. And it could happen for men and it could happen for women. What happens for men, then they're not able to stay hard and they're not able to successfully complete the activity. And when that happens, it is shattering for a man. And because men link their masculinity a lot with their ability to perform this act. Now, if they're not able to perform this act for whatever reason, it has a lot of reasons. Could be poor diet, poor health, and could be stress, could be a lot of reasons for that, right? And if it happens, then it is very shattering for men. And I have known marriages that suffered solely because they were not able to handle the performance issues. A woman needs to be very wise and sensitive when anything like that happens. And the reason for that is because if she handled it wisely and sensitively, a man is never going to forget that. Is going to be so appreciative of your wisdom and of your niceness. And how do you handle it nicely? First of all, you reassure him that this is normal, that it could happen to anybody, that you've heard things like that happen, and it is very normal. And you also tell him that nobody's going to find out. It is هن لباس لكم وأنتم لباس لهن, that we are each other's garment. And what happens in the bedroom stays in the bedroom. Nobody's going to find out. because men are really mortified of people finding this out about them. And the third thing that you're going to do to sensitively handle this issue is to reassure him that your love for him does not depend on his ability to perform for you. Your love for him is you love him as a person and you're going to stay by his side. Now, it is important though to know when to consult the doctor. So, performance issue for a week, for a few weeks is okay. But if it starts going to month and a half, 2 months, now it's time to consult a doctor. It's time to take measures now. It's time to determine the root cause of it and it's time to treat it. And performance issues could happen with women as well. Now, women don't have to perform or anything, but sometimes due to them being so afraid, or it is psychological, what happens is sometimes their body naturally tenses up down there and their muscle tenses up and makes the act very hard to perform. So if the issue is from a woman, then it is more, it is more mental than physical generally. And for that, a woman needs to feel, a woman needs, a man needs to work on making a woman feel calm and relaxed. And a woman has to do a lot of inner work as well. And she needs to pinpoint why is she, like, what are the negative connotations she has with this, and what are the fears, what is causing it. She has to identify that, and she has to remedy that. Only when her thought process starts changing, her body is going to start responding more positively. Now, if that remained for a long, long time, for like months or for months, and you know, then you know that you can always contact the doctor for it, and they might have some remedies, some counseling solutions, and sometimes they also have solutions that involve in some dilators that can be inserted that are very small in size, and then it could increase. They keep increasing the size until it's the desired size. So no matter who has the performance issue, whether it be the man or the woman, it is very important to take the pressure off from the act of intimacy itself, from the main act. Just, this is not important. Right now, what is important is going to be both of us together. We're going to enjoy each other's company, going to enjoy each other's body in a different way without thinking about the intimacy itself. So this is how you take the pressure off of intimacy, and you can please each other with your hands until you feel relaxed and calm, and then this issue slowly starts going away. Now I'm going to say some pearls of wisdom, inshallah, things that are really important for you to know, inshallah, going to help you set you in the right direction. But before that, I would like to tell you that if you have not yet found a suitable spouse, you could always refer to the Select the Right Spouse by Al-Qawarir, by Umar in Al-Qawarir channel. You could look, that's a video for how to find your spouse and how to ask the right questions to know if that person is right for you. Inshallah, you could go watch that, and I will put the link for that in the description of this video, inshallah. And also, there will be other links in the description of the video for you to, inshallah, for journals, inshallah, so you could journal to select the right spouse, inshallah, to help you in this journey, inshallah. Okay, now, there are some things that I want you to know as a new bride, and that is the intimacy gets better with time. Intimacy gets better with time. Now, most brides enter the marriage thinking their first night is going to be the most beautiful romantic experience, or the first few days are going to be the best that in their life. But however, it might be true for on the emotional aspect of it. Like emotionally, it's going to be the most romantic time, most beautiful time of your life. But physically, it might not be the most comfortable time for you. I want you to know from beforehand, so you're not this, you're not very surprised or unpleasantly surprised by the reality of it. But the reality is there might be some discomfort initially because your body is getting used to this new sensation, this new activity that's going on. So most likely you are going to experience some discomfort or or might get an infection as well. So it could all happen. But know that as time goes by, intimacy keeps getting better. And there your body gets awakened to different sensations with time, like 5 years, 10 years down the road, is when you really truly start enjoying the intimacy. When you know your body, when you know your husband's body, and when you so you're going to have the magic of your own together, but that only happens many years down the road. I mean, I've heard of couples in their like 30 years plus marriage, they're still trying new things. So there's a lot to learn. It's a long learning curve. Another thing that I want you to know is to embrace your natural hairstyle. You have to, for the first period of your marriage, you should know which hairstyles or how to manage your natural hair where they're not that frizzy, but at the same time, not very high maintenance as well, because it's likely that you might be needing to have a shower or have a ghusl multiple times a day. So if you are, so it's not practical for you to each time come and make a, what is it called? Iron your hair and things like that. You have to have some natural hairstyles in mind. Then the third thing I want you as a bride to know is to never try anything new right before the marriage. Do the patch test first and at least leave 2 weeks from something new till the wedding, right? So if you're trying a new perfume, if you're trying a new hair color, if you're trying a new like facial or something, at least 2 weeks before the wedding, right? And even 2 weeks is too little. Ideally, it should be a lot. Ideally, you should not try anything new right before the wedding. Okay. And then the fourth thing is to let him take the lead in the beginning. So the beginning period of your marriage, there's nothing required of you except like looking pretty, looking pretty and being the bride, being shy bride. Not required of you to like go after him to actively seduce him with your clothes and things like that. Nothing of that sort of is required. Naturally, because of being a bride, you are very seductive anyway. You're very attractive to him anyway. So let him take the lead and let him come to you and let him um show you different things and yeah, let him take the lead. And the last thing I want you to know is to never reject him outright in anything. Why? Men are mortified of rejection. And just as nervous as you were to be a bride, he was just as nervous, if not more, to be the groom. Sometimes we forget that the men go through similar things as well. And all of his life, he's dreamt of having this bride that's halal for him to enjoy, and that is going to ask her to do different things for him. And then and you can imagine what a rejection can do in that kind of scenario. All of his life is dreamt of this moment, and here you're rejecting him. Now, if the reason for rejection is that it is asking for something inappropriate, for example, then you need to do it tactfully, not outright rejection. Like, this act I don't feel comfortable doing it, for example, or because, so for example, if something you find disgusting or something like that, it is okay for you to reject it initially because you have as much right to enjoy the intimacy as him, right? So, and if you're forced to do things that's not, you enjoying it. So, but you have to make a distinction between if the act itself is okay to do, but you're just shy. For example, if he's asking you to perform or dance for him, for example, and you've never done that before, you don't want to do that. I mean, it is very, I mean, it's a dhulm to say reject him outright for that. You can say something like, keep an open mind to it and say something like, oh, okay, I will, how about I do something for you tomorrow? Right now I'm feeling super shy. Something like that, something nice and sweet. And know that if your husband wants you to dance for him, or, like some very, uh, innocent kind of request from your husband, then you should do them eventually, right? You should do them even if you don't know, if even if you feel shy to dance, for example, you should learn, you should practice in the mirror when you're alone by yourself, and just practice the moves, practice, perform and act in the mirror for yourself, and then do it in front of your husband, and things like that. So there is one thing that completely allowed, and allowed for him to enjoy, but you're feeling shy. Another thing is that something not allowed. I mean, that you can reject. Obviously, you can say that we don't want to displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if it's just something uncomfortable in the moment that your body finds it disgusting, for example, if your body finds the act itself disgusting, this is not no excuse for you to deny him, right? Because you know that this is the normal part of relationship. There's no excuse for you to deny him. You can't do that. So you have to work on that. There are a lot of things that you're going to be working on, and know that if you are rejecting him for anything, then it has to be done very tactfully, and it has to be done with an open language, like, not today, my love. Maybe we can try it tomorrow. Maybe we can try it next week. Something like that. All right. So only one more thing that I want to add over here, and it is that as a bride, you are very beautiful. Even if you don't have any makeup on, even if you don't have, if even if you have your natural self, you are very beautiful. Yes, we are going to try to become the best version of ourselves. We're going to try to become the best version of ourselves, but we're not going to aim for impossible standards to achieve and then feel bad for not achieving it. We are not going to aim to have a model like look, for example, and then be disheartened that we cannot achieve that look, or we don't look like that model, for example. We're not going to put impossible standards for ourselves. We're going to be the best version of ourselves, but we're going to accept ourselves the way we are. We're not going to try to achieve impossible standards. All right, with that, inshallah, we're going to conclude the talk for today. And if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to ask, whether it be on Zoom or whether it be on YouTube. I will see the questions, inshallah. And then let's see. Okay, so for YouTube, we've got no questions. However, on Zoom, we've got a question. Assalamu alaikum, jazakallah khairan kathiran for this session. Please, will this session be available offline? Right. Will this session be available offline? Inshallah, it will be available, even if it's for a limited time. Inshallah, I will make it available for everybody to review it again. If there are any questions, please type them down. Shukran jazilan, sister. Oh, jazakallah khair for you as well. Jazakumullah khair for joining. It was an amazing session because I've got amazing sisters like you. And alhamdulillah, if I feel like I have helped even one of you, even one bride, feel more relaxed in her wedding day, I feel like I feel so much fulfillment out of it, out of this. So, and if you want to help me and support me, inshallah, remember to subscribe to the channel and share it with any sisters that might benefit from this. All right then. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.